Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back in the channel. I get asked a lot, what does a typical day look like in the life of a full-time reseller, or what does my typical everyday, normal, average day look like? Now, everybody's business is different and everybody's shipping requirements and listing requirements and merchandise and setup is generally different. So it's going to be different for everyone, but I'll give you a look at what my typical day looks like. That way you can kind of, see what I do, and then maybe some of your stuff could be adjusted up or down, and you can roll with it for that. So let's get started. Generally, first thing in the morning, what I start with is my emails, my messages, my comments on YouTube, all kinds of eBay messages, the bulk emails that you guys send me, the individual emails that you guys send me, which if you ever want to do is rockstarflipper@gmail.com. I'll respond to all that sort of stuff. Anything anybody needed from me, I will go in there and make sure that everybody has, a message responded to, that everything's clear. I keep my eBay messages clear. If it's just a counter offer or whatever, I just delete it. But I'll spend 30, 45 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes on eBay, 5 or 10 minutes, 15 minutes on my comments on YouTube. I'll spend 5 or 10 minutes responding to Facebook comments in the Facebook group. I'll spend 5 or 10 minutes in my actual wholesale email box. I'll spend 5 or 10 minutes over in my other email box, my Rockstarflipper email. So that's just basically first thing in the morning what I tend to do for the first, 45 minutes to an hour that I'm awake. All right, so after my emails and messaging and commenting and social media and all that sort of stuff is done, which generally is about an hour in my morning, I try to get started between 9 and 10 in the morning. I'm just not a real good 6 a.m. morning person. I never have been, but I stay up later to make up for those extra hours or two. So the second thing that I'll do after I spend my first hour, 1 hour, on social media and responding and messages and comments and all that sort of stuff and emails is packing. Of course, we have to pack and ship individual items, which all come out of the garage, but we also have items at the storage unit that we have to go pull. Typically for me to leave the house, go to the storage unit and pull the items that need to be shipped and grab the items we need for wholesale boxes and get back takes me about 45 minutes. It's about a 10 to 15 minute drive. It's pretty close, but I have to get out of the neighborhood and get up to the main road. So about say 25, 30 minutes of driving time both ways. And then I'm inside about 10 or 15 minutes. So that's 45 minutes of my day. Get back, get it unloaded. That's an hour. That's the unfortunate part of having to do it. But if I had a warehouse again, like I used to have, I would spend an hour going to the warehouse at least, or spend, most of my day there. So that's 1 hour of my time after the emails and messages. So that's 2 hours. Then we pack and ship the individual items and any wholesale boxes. So the individual items are pretty quick because we sell about 15 or 20 per day. It just depends on the day, sometimes 8 or 10 between all the platforms. Individual items, it's growing. We're gonna be up to like 25 or 30 a day pretty soon once the cards get here and once I get more of the inventory up. But with that said, that's about 30 minutes. We can crank that out pretty fast. I spend another 30 minutes putting together a couple wholesale boxes pretty much every day. I sell 10 to 15 a week. So on average, about 2 per day. Takes me about 30 minutes. I can crank out a wholesale box, whether it's clothing or makeup or wholesale remote controls. I can generally crank those out in about 15 or 20 minutes. So another hour worth of packing and shipping total. So that's 3 hours from the first 3 tasks. And then after I do that, I'll create content. I'll create YouTube videos like this. If I create one YouTube video that's say 10 or 12 minutes long, like this one probably will be, you can count on about 15 or 20 minutes of filming because sometimes I have to go back and change the clips or refilm or whatever. And then it takes about 30 minutes to edit a video down to 15, 12, 14 minutes, whatever it is, and get it processed onto the computer so that it's a video. Then you have to upload it to YouTube, write out a title, create a thumbnail, description, all that sort of stuff. A lot of it's templates, but you still got to put in the time to put up a thumbnail. That's about 30 minutes of work. So to create a 15-minute video on YouTube or less generally takes over an hour. Sometimes it can take an hour and a half. If you see somebody creating a 30-minute YouTube video, probably took them about 2.5 hours. So keep that in mind when you're watching your favorite YouTubers. So that's another hour for me. So that's hour 4. We have an hour for messaging and emails, an hour for packing and shipping. We have an hour of drive time, transport time, and we have an hour on YouTube videos. Then I'll create social media content like Facebook posts, Instagram Reels, TikTok, that sort of stuff. I'll generally spend about 30 minutes to an hour on that sort of thing because that's just an important part of my business, like marketing and advertising and getting stuff out there. So that's another hour. So you're up to like 5 hours of time. Generally, I like to spend about 2 hours of my time listing. Kate spends her time listing merchandise, but I'll spend time, 2 hours getting up some new listings or working on List Perfectly to copy some listings over. That way I can do 40, 50, 60 items if I'm copying, 20, 30 items if I'm doing new fresh listings. That's like 2 hours of my life. So there's 7 hours. And then generally I'll spend another hour creating content, responding to more messages that have come out through the day, and doing the follow-up work, accounting work, which takes me about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 per day, to do all my bookkeeping, accounting, my back end, all my sort of like, do we need supplies? Click on eBay, find supplies, purchase them. So that's another hour. So that puts us at like my 8-hour day. A typical day in my full-time reselling career, if that's what you want to call it, I guess, is about an 8-hour day. Now, if we're really busy and we've got a bunch of wholesale boxes, a bunch of stuff to ship out, it can be 9, it can be 10 hours. If I got to go back and forth to UPS, USPS, things of that nature, I can work anywhere from the 8 to 10 hour mark on up to 12, 13, 14 hours. Now, I work Monday through Friday, of course, obviously. I try to get started around 9 o'clock, 9:30. If the worst case is 10 and I put in 8 hours, that's till 6 p.m. We go to the lagoon that I live in for nighttime activities like trivia and bingo at like 6 p.m., get dinner, that sort of thing. So that's right around that time, like 10 to 6 is perfect. If I know I got a lot to do, I'll get started at 9 and I'll work until 6, 6:30, 7 o'clock, put in those 9 hours, 10 hours of work, and I'm good. Then we go about our nightly routine, our dinner, our Netflix, our go out and get dinner, go to Lagoon, whatever it is. And then generally Kate gets in bed to go to sleep around 11, 11:30. I get in bed, but I sit on my laptop usually from like 11 till 1 or 2 in the morning. So that gives me an extra 2 or 3 hours to prep, to get ideas up, to come up with emails for tomorrow, to get more accounting done, whatever it is that I need to do. And that's where sometimes I put in those 10, 12-hour days. Now that's not common. Generally it's 8 to 10 hours total, but yeah, I could definitely put in 11, 12, 13 hours on a given day. Now on the weekends, I generally only try to work a couple hours. I'll wake up, respond to all my messages. I'll create some content. So that's like an hour or two. I don't do shipping. I don't got to go to the storage unit. I don't got to go back and forth. So that cuts out like 2 or 3 hours of time. What am I forgetting? I think that's pretty much it, guys. If I have a pallet come in, which I have a pallet coming in 2 days, so that is going to take me an hour to receive that pallet, drag it in here, cut it open, start processing it and going through it. I might spend a couple hours on it when new pallets come in. Receive merchandise. I spend a ton of time receiving the merchandise. So that's kind of what I guess a typical day in my life looks like. What we have to do every single day to process and get out that type of merchandise, to roll through hundreds of pieces, individual pieces a week, and then thousands of bulk and wholesale pieces every week. Now, don't mind my dirty garage. We're working on cleaning that up. That's the last part. I showed you guys that when the hurricane came, that we're going to be cleaning that up. That's decorations basically that are going up there again once we get that out. And then that's going to be gone in a couple days. This whole little walkway right there will be just cleared out. And then I'll just have that little pile to work on. And hopefully in the next, 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have everything over there cleaned out. My garage will be good. My car there and the golf cart there, and we're all set. So typical day right here in the garage. Only thing I got to leave for is my storage unit, USPS, UPS trips, and it's only a few miles away. Like I said, like 4 or 5 miles away. All right, what's your typical day look like? Leave it down in the comment section below. I would love to hear about it. I'd love to see what you guys do on any given day, any given Sunday, any given day of the week to handle your reselling business if you're full-time. And if you're part-time, how do you squeeze it in between your full-time job or your other part-time gig, whatever it is that you do? Let me hear it down in the comment section. I'd love to read it, and I'll shout some of you guys out. Maybe if you leave me your Instagram or your TikTok, I'll tag you and shout you out on there as well and get you some followers and share your story. So thank you for watching as always. Hit that blue thumbs up down below underneath the video. Turn it blue. Really, really appreciate you liking the video and subscribing to this channel for future videos. And until then, stay safe, guys. Make some money, and I'll see you next time.